Good morning, everyone, and
Good
welcome
morning.
to today's professional development seminar on mastering the Canvas Rich Content Editor. Maybe not the sexiest topic we've ever offered. it's a This is a bit of a skill set sort of basic skill set sort of topic, but it's one that's extremely important if you are using the Canvas learning management system or contemplating doing so, because this is the fundamental, the rich content, so-called rich content editor is the fundamental content creation tool built into Canvas. It is the editor that you use when you're creating documents in Canvas. And it is ubiquitous. You see it everywhere in Canvas. If you create a Canvas page, which is one of the three primary content types that you can offer your students in Canvas, basically a web page, you use the rich content editor. Discussion posts, you and your students use the rich content editor. This is available to students as well, of course. When you create an announcement, you use the RCE. You can create a web page, a separate web page using the rich content editor. It is, in fact, at its core, an HTML or hypertext markup language editor. But it has what we used to call a WYSIWYG mode. What you see is what you get mode, or just a content entry mode. So you don't have to know anything about HTML to use the rich content editor. But if you do know HTML, you can modify your documents in ways that are not necessarily possible just from the basic controls in the rich content editor. So if you're an HTML maven, the rich content editor will allow you to apply those skills. And these are some fundamental content types over here on the left, but you also see the rich content. You also use the rich content editor if you're a student answering an essay question in a test. You have access to the full rich content editor, which means which gives you as the instructor a lot more flexibility in how you in what you require. In an essay question on a test, you can require students to insert images, video, all sorts of things into the answer to an essay question on a test, which is certainly something you couldn't do if they were taking the test on paper. When you create instructions for quizzes and assignments or discussion topics, you get the full rich content editor so that those instructions can be very rich. And again, when we talk about rich media, rich content, we're talking not only about text, but also images, video, embedded websites, embedded documents, all the things that we'll see that we can do with the rich content editor today. So it's a lot more than just a text editor, though it can do that too. When you're typing questions in a test, you have access to the rich content editor. Even if on a multiple choice question, you can have rich content embedded in the possible answers. So this rich content editor gives you the opportunity to create very sophisticated looking documents within tests. And when students are when you have an assignment that is text entry, that is the student a homework assignment in Canvas that the student has to type something directly into Canvas. Well, they don't. Again, they're not limited to text. They get the full rich content editor in all of these places and all of these situations. So it is just very commonly encountered through Canvas. As a matter of fact, the only type of document that you might create in Canvas that I can think of right offhand that does not give you the capabilities of the rich content editor when you create it is a Canvas message, an inbox message. The inbox tool does not give you the rich content editor. And I don't quite know why. There have been many requests over the years for Canvas to include that. But I guess they're thinking in terms of simpler messaging and so on with that tool. But other than that, just about any time you go to create any sort of content object in Canvas, you'll have to deal with the rich content editor. So it's an essential Canvas skill. And here's what it looks like. It's a fairly standard editor. It is a web-based editor, of course. The code is actually running on the Canvas system, and it runs through your web browser. So you don't have to install anything on your local computer to make it work. There's a content box where you type stuff and insert stuff. There are control menus and icon ribbons. Not uncommon, not very different from a lot of Windows or Mac OS applications. You have a menu bar and you have the ribbon here as well, the icon ribbon. You can do almost everything you need to do from the icon ribbon. There are just one or two things that require you to go to the menu bar as well, though you can always use the menus if you prefer over the icon ribbons. And then there are some other little doodads down here. There's something that allows you to save the document that you create. There are accessibility tools that help you avoid producing documents that are inaccessible to students with various disabilities. And there are some view controls here and so on. We'll take a look at all of this. Indeed, let's take a look at the live rich content editor and see this. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. Forgot I'm in the wrong browser there. There we go. Okay, here's a Canvas course, just a sandbox course that I use for these tutorials. And I can bring up the rich content editor by going to create anything that requires it, like an announcement or a discussion post. I'm just going to use the most common, create the most common sort of document where you use the rich content editor, a Canvas page. So I can go to the Pages tool, my course menu, and by default, it brings up my home page. With that, never let yourself get caught in a single frame on video that looks like that. In order to actually create a page, I need to go to the View All Pages button here, and I'll get a list of all the pages that I've created in this course. You may have dozens or hundreds even in an extensive course. And then to create a page, I just use this plus page or add page button up here. There are other ways to create pages as well, but this will get us into the rich content editor. I do need, if I'm creating a page, if I'm ever going to save it, I need to give it a title, just so I can find it again. I'm going to call this RCE, Rich Content Editor for short, demo page, and today's date, so I know I use this one today, 10/13th. And then I have this editor box here, this I don't want to say a text box because I can put lots of things other than text in here, but this is where I'll create the document. You may note that the relative to the picture I showed you of this in the PowerPoint slide, that the icon bar here is truncated, and there's a little menu button at the end. If you click on that, you get the rest of the tools. That's true because I have enlarged or magnified this screen a little bit so that you can see it better sharing on Zoom. By the way, at this point, hopefully by now you are in speaker view in your Zoom application. If you're not, if you look in the upper right hand corner of your Zoom window, you'll see a little button labeled View. And if you click on that, you'll see options like Speaker and Gallery. And you want to be in speaker view at this point so you can see these screens that I've got keyed behind me here. But I've got it magnified to make it easier for you to see it. Here's what the editor will look like. If I zoom out a little bit, the display is adaptive, so it will now give me the full rich content editor icon ribbon. But I'm going to keep that zoomed in for you so that you can see it a little better as we go along. But normally you won't have to pull up the end of the bar here, the icon ribbon, when you're working with this on your computer. By clicking that More button there, it won't even be there. All right, here's the icon ribbon. So this looks just like the image that I showed you a minute ago. Okie dokie. We're going to start off, the RCE is much more than a text editor, but that's its fundamental genesis. It's designed to allow you to type text, type and format text in all sorts of different ways. Think of a little mini Microsoft Word. It doesn't have Word's extensive set of tools, but it has most everything you'd use on a regular basis. Also, instead of producing documents designed for printing, it produces documents that are, in fact, produces web pages. This editor produces web pages, or HTML, Hypertext Markup Language documents. So that restricts some options that you would have in a full-blown word processor like Microsoft Word, but you still have plenty of capability. So, what can you change here? Well, you can set font size, block formattings. You can choose. A relatively recent addition to this is the ability to choose a typeface, a font, other than a standard sans serif, something like Times New Roman or whatever. Used to be the only option you had. You can bold, italicize, underline, change the text color, background color. You can type superscripts or subscripts. You can align text and other objects in the editor left, center, or right. You can create bulleted lists. You can indent or outdent. You can create tables. And there's an equation editor built in. So let's take a look at how that works. We'll go back to the actual, this is the live editor, and of course I've just started a demonstration page here. And let's just type some text. I promise you I do a minimum amount of typing during this because my typing skills are terrible. But let's say, now is the time for all good men and women to come to the aid of their party. So you can type text, if you can type. So it's a text editor. You can type stuff in. You can get another line, and by just pressing enter, give you a line feed, and you can type more stuff down here. Just very basic text editing. You can change the size the point size of the text, you have some relatively limited options here. You can go from 8 to 36 point. The default is 12, which is usually about right for standard document body text, but I can make it bigger if I want to. I have some block formatting tools. If I'm typing a heading for a section of a document or whatever, I have various heading options. I can paste in pre-formatted text, but the default is just paragraph formatting. I can bold text just by highlighting it, click and drag over it, and click the B. I can italicize just by typing the italic tool. I can underline. I can change the text color by highlighting. Or I can change it in advance, and the color will change as I type. I can change the background color if I don't like the white background. Just again by highlighting, clicking the little down caret to get the actual menu, and put different color background in there and highlight something. So all the usual text editing tools. I can also type superscripts and subscripts. If I want to type the chemical formula for water, I can type H. And then select subscript and type a 2. And then I gotta take that off. So I can uncheck subscript there. And then, like so, I can do the same thing with superscripts for exponents in a formula and things like that. All basic text editing. I also have alignment tools. If I go to my More menu here, since I've got this blown up a bit, I have an alignment window, or a menu here. If I click the little down carets with any of these options, I get the menu that allows me to select what I want. So if I want to center that formula, I just go to the alignment tool. And my options for alignment and positioning of text and graphic elements in a web editor or an HTML editor like the rich content editor are somewhat more limited than they are in, say, Microsoft Word, because those are limitations built into the hypertext markup language, or the HTML language. So I just have to deal with that. But I can center this or right justify it, or bring it back to the left just by selecting options from that menu. Also in this area here, I can create bulleted lists, which are very useful in many circumstances. I can create a list with different sorts of bullets, or numbered or lettered lists, or lists labeled by Roman numerals. So if I want a bulleted list, I can select this type of bullet and just type in bullets, except I seem to have hit the caps lock. There we go. And so on. And then if I click, or if I tap return an extra time or enter, I get out of the bulleted list. I can always go back and add more to it. And of course I have the option, as I say, to create numbered lists as well. and so on. So I can, again, those are all common formatting tools you'd expect in any text editor, and the rich content editor doesn't disappoint. I can indent text if I choose the indent tool here. And I can also outdent using that tool, or cancel the indent. Yep, except I need to highlight the text if I'm going to do that and make it work. So nothing unusual there. I can create tables using the table tool here. It's going to create the table wherever my edit cursor is here in the box. So I got to be careful where I've got that blinking cursor before I start adding things, just like any other text editor. If I click on the menu button, the little down caret for the table tool, I can choose to create a table of any number of rows and columns. Let's say I want 3 rows or 3 columns and 2 rows. I just draw that in on this grid and click in the lower right hand corner, and there's a table of 2 rows and 3 columns. And I can type text into each, and this allows me to align text elements in columns and rows. I've got lots of options or properties of the table that I can take advantage of here. I get this little edit balloon that makes it very simple for me to do things like add a row to the table. That added a row above, or I could add a row below the current, wherever my current cursor is currently. I can delete a row if I decided I didn't need that. I can add columns. I can remove columns. I can set properties for the table as a whole right from here using that properties button. Like if I don't want the table to stretch all the way across the screen, which is the default, I can make it 50% and save that. Now it's a smaller table.
Dave, can you go back to table properties?
Table properties right here. Yeah, we were going to.
So you see the border with 1. Can you make the border disappear?
Yes. Now that border will not appear in the final document. You see it in the editor because so that you can gauge where the cells are. But if I save this and look at it, those borders won't be there.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you save it? Can I take a look?
I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, sure. Let's put something in here so we can.
Yeah, recently I was trying to make the text and image side by side by using a table.
Correct. We'll look at that in a minute. But there, and now if I save this, see, there's your table, but there are no borders visible. You just set your border width to 0, as you suspected. And it's a good idea to save your work periodically because if the power were to go off, you could lose this. So it's always a good idea to save and then go back and edit again, and you can pick up where you left off.
And in this case, the editor and the final product look different. So that's a way to confirm that the
Exactly.
Really
what you see in edit mode may not be exactly what your students are going to see. So it's a good idea to save it and check and see if what you've just added looks the way you think it should. Good point. There are more extensive table tools here. if I go to Format, let's see, or I'm sorry, the Insert menu option in the menu, I do have the same capability that I have through the table icon in the icon bar. But when I go here and go to table properties, I have quite a bit of modification of the table I can do. I can align the table center, for instance. In advanced, I can change border styles. I can change border colors.
One more question about table, Dave.
Yes.
Can you make different columns have a different width?
I'm sorry, can I make what?
Can you make different columns to have different width? So one column can be wider, the
Yes.
other column can be narrower.
You can indeed adjust the width and height, the width of columns and the height of rows. Like if I want this table as a whole to be wider, I can just mouse over it and extend it.
How about different columns have a different width?
I can also change the width of a column by pointing at the internal borders
Okay,
and drag and drop those.
thank you.
And I can change the height within limits. I can change the height as well. I need a little more room
When I
there.
do the grading policy, I often want to make the columns different width.
Exactly. So
So
you can
ABCD will
create.
be kind of narrow, and the range of the
Exactly.
scores can be
So you
wide.
have full control over the column width and row height. You can do that by manually dragging the borders, or you can go to table properties in advanced, I'm sorry, in general, and yeah, that's basically what you can do. So you've got considerable capability in creating tables. And of course, you're not limited to putting text in a table, and we'll see how to use that, the tables in that regard, here in a moment. Let's see. And there is also an equation editor built into the rich content editor. It's changed somewhat relatively recently, so we probably ought to take a look at that. It is accessible in the menu, in the icon ribbon, through this little icon here, the square root of X icon. If I want to bring that up, I just click on that icon, and here's my equation editor. Oh, good point, Ardith. Let me.
I think I have this issue in my class
No,
too.
that was my issue, not yours. I forgot to spotlight my Zoom screen,
Uh,
so it would stay in place while everyone was speaking. That was an oversight on my part, so that won't happen again.
because I think mine's doing that too, and I'm thinking, is it in the settings where I have to go back and change it?
It's something you can adjust while you're in a meeting. Let me share my Zoom screen real quick here and show you that. Let's see, that's the right one. Okay, this is my Zoom screen. If I want to ensure that my screen is visible at all times, I can right click on anyone. But let's see to make sure I'm in the right place. Come on. Let me close that equation editor for a second. Why is that not letting me do that? Oh, because I'm already I'm going to remove the spotlight. Now, whoever's spoken last is shown full screen. But if I point at myself, my own video thumbnail up here, and right click or command click on a Mac, I get the option to spotlight me for everyone. And only the host can do this. So if I do that, now, no matter who is speaking, they see my screen, my video. And
Thank you, Dan.
that stops it from flipping back and forth like that. And that
Right.
was an oversight on my part. Sorry. Always try to do that at the beginning of the meeting. I just forgot. But a good point. Brought up a good question.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on.
Okay, let's go back to the equation editor. How does this work? Well, you can create an equation here in this box below all these little tools, and then click Done, and it will be inserted into the document. So if I want to, it's a curious mixture of typing and clicking on buttons here. If I want to enter, say, a simple mathematical equation like 2x, I can just type the 2 and the x. But now if I want a superscript, I can click this button right here. And let's say that's 2x squared. The hardest thing for me to learn about this editor was how to undo that, because now if I type something, it's just going to appear as a superscript. To kill the superscript, I'd have to press the right arrow on the keyboard. Took me forever to figure. I had to watch about 3 or 4 YouTube videos before I finally found that. Then let's say the equation is 2x plus 10. And now I need an equal sign, equals 42. Notice it spaces everything out for you automatically. If that's just a very, very simple algebraic equation. If I'm happy with that, I just click Done, and it inserts it right there. So you can type, and of course you have just all sorts of symbols that you can use, basic symbols, Greek letters, all sorts of Boolean and logical operators, relationship, like greater than, less than, and so on, symbols, arrows. If you're doing something other than a mathematical equation, you've got arrows, you've got mathematical delimiters, and miscellaneous symbols. Many of these I have no idea what you use for. It's been a long time since I took a math course. But they're, again, symbols that are like the delta. I recognize that's a common symbol used in chemistry to indicate heat. So you can do things. Let's see if I can get this to do a chemical equation for me. 2H, and then I need a subscript 2, and then right arrow to get out of that, and then a plus sign, 2H2 plus O, and then a subscript again, 2. And now I need an arrow, yields, and that arrow didn't really look that good. Let's try, I can backspace and get rid of it. Let's try that one. Oh, looks like I haven't gotten rid of the subscript there. Let's try this again. That's better. Yields 2H, back to basic, subscript 2 plus 2H2O. Sorry. Forget what I'm doing. And I just type, I can just type the O. Oh, didn't clear the subscript again. There we go. So I get something that really looks a lot better than a didn't start on a new line,
It'd
but
be easier to copy and paste, huh?
I'm sorry.
Think it'd be easier to copy and paste,
Uh, it might be if you have that as an image already somewhere.
right?
But this does give you the capability to directly enter um, mathematical and other sorts of equations into your developing document. And if you are a math editor maven, an expert, the this is actually based on the famous open source equation editor language, LaTeX, not latex, LaTeX. It's verbalized, and you can turn that on, and you can actually edit LaTeX code and so on. But you got to be a whole lot more sophisticated than I am to know how to do that. But it does have that capability. It is, and in fact, a LaTeX editor, so it's quite a sophisticated math editor, particularly to have for free in Canvas. So it's useful if you generate a lot, if you're teaching mathematics, or if you're teaching some subject that uses a lot of mathematical notation, or if you are teaching a STEM subject like chemistry or physics, or say economics, things like that. These equation editors can be very handy, and that basic capability is built into the rich content editor. It's not something we may use every day, but it's there when you need it. Just depends on your subject matter. Okie dokie. Let's bring our PowerPoint slide back up and see where we are. We pretty well covered that slide. Any more questions? There have been some great ones so far, but any more questions about basic text editing before we move on? Talk about more fun stuff. And if you think of it, just bring it up later. Okay, now we have the insertion tools in the editor that allow you to insert things like links to content both inside and outside of Canvas, images. This is a rich and now we're talking about rich media, more than just text. We can import images, media, which usually means video. It may mean audio as well, but usually means video. Documents. You can insert entire documents of various types into a Canvas page or a Canvas discussion post or an announcement. So if you have some information that's already in, say, a Word document, you can insert that right into your developing Canvas page, for instance, and not have to recreate it or copy and paste it, which doesn't always produce the best results, because the differences between, say, the capabilities of Microsoft Word and the rich content editor sometimes trip you up, and you end up with something that's very hard to read. But you can insert a document whole with all its formatting intact and so on right into a Canvas page or other document. And there are a series of so-called apps or external tools from which you can insert content into the rich content editor. So let's take a look at each of these things in more detail here. Let's pull up this live document we've been creating here. And we'll just take these tools in order. Let's do the link tool first, since that's the one that comes first in the icon bar. If I click on the little menu button for the link tool, link insert tool, I get the option to create an external link or an internal link. An external link is a web link, a hyperlink that will take you to some resource out on the web somewhere, outside of Canvas. A course link allows you to link to something inside Canvas. So let's do both. Let's try an external link first. In order to create an external link, I need an anchor for it. I need something for the student to click on. And more often than not, that's going to be text. So let's say I want to send someone to, I don't know, just to CNN. I can type some text. I can highlight the text, and then I click the link menu button and I select external link. Here's the text that is serving as the anchor here. I can modify that here if I decide to. That's a little redundant, but and then I can type the link. I can either type it in or I can paste it in if I have it somewhere. If I go, say, if I open up another tab here and I go to CNN, there's the CNN website. It's a nice simple one, nice simple URL. I can copy that to my clipboard, and I can go back to Canvas here and I can paste that. Right click and paste, or Control V to paste on the keyboard, or Command V on a Mac. I can paste that in and click Done. Now if I save this, I've got a hyperlink. It's indicated as such by being blue and underlined. That's standard practice for standard imagery for a hyperlink in a web page or a Canvas page as well. Also, the Canvas page, it also shows you this little icon here, which is a universal icon for an external resource out on the web. Either way, I just click on this website and it automatically opens this up in a new tab, and here's the CNN website with all the advertisements and so on that you'd care for, or not. Oh well. So that sends me right to the CNN website, and when I need to get back, I just close that tab in the browser, and boom, I'm back. So that's all there is to generating an external.
Dave,
Yes.
can you make the link to appear like a button?
I'm sorry?
Can you make the link to appear like a button
To appear in...
in your page?
Yes, the link is appearing in the page.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you make
you
the
mean,
link
can you
to
make the
look
document, the website appear right
no.
within your
So
page?
here we see just the CNN website online is the text.
You'd like to see the website right there.
No. I want to know whether you can make this thing look like a button.
A button. He wants it to look like a
Yes,
button.
certainly you can use images as anchors as well, and we'll see that here in a moment.
Okay.
Good question. Good question. Okay, let's edit again and keep up with that. That's an external link. I can also create internal links. Like, let's say I'd like to send my students to have a link to send my students to the top of the modules page without them having to go over here and know to click on the modules link in the course menu. I can do that. I can just type something again. I need an anchor. I'll just type the word module, or how about go to modules, and highlight that and select the link, and this time course link. And that brings up a list of all sorts of items, content items within your course that you can link directly to and jump right out of this page that we're generating here. I can jump to other pages, right to another page if I want to. inside Canvas, inside my Canvas course. I can jump to an assignment or a quiz or an announcement or a discussion topic. I can jump to a particular module if, like, maybe I wanted to jump to a module somewhere deep down within the course. I could have the student be able to jump right to that, or through course navigation I can jump to things like these buttons over here in the course menu. I can send them right to their grades. I can send them right to their announcements, or I can send them to the modules. Let me just select that, and that sets that up. If I close this window here, so now this is an internal link. If I save the document and I'm reading this page here in Canvas and I want to go to my modules, I can click here and bada bing, there's the modules tool. So I can link to a wide variety of things within the course using that link tool there. Let me jump back to that page and we'll continue here. Come on, Canvas. We'll view all page. And I got to find that one now. Let's see. Let's see. RC, here we are. That's the one we were working on. I can bring that back up and I can go back to the edit button, and now I can continue adding to that page from where I left off. Just hit enter to give myself some fresh space here. And so that's basically how links work. I can also add images. Images are very handy things. That's the first sort of rich media that you might add. I can add in by clicking on the little menu icon next to the image icon here, which is just a sort of a standardized icon that denotes a picture or a still image in most iconography online. And I can either upload a brand new image from my local computer or from a thumb drive or whatever I have access to on my local computer, or I can select, or I can insert images that I already have uploaded to my course or to my personal file space on Canvas. Every Canvas user has a personal file space. It has a relatively limited amount of storage available. I think it's about 5 or 10 megabytes or something like that. But if they're small images that you want to use in a variety of courses that you use all the time, you can put them in your personal user space and not have to put them into every course. But let's say I want to upload an image here. I just click the upload image option and I get this little Launchpad icon. This shows up all through Canvas and various Instructure products. I can just drag and drop files or image files onto this little Launchpad here, or I can just click on the little rocket ship and it will bring up my file manager, and I can go to my wherever I have some pictures on my computer, and I can find a picture I want to upload. Let's do Alfred here. When I was young, I bore a frightening resemblance to Alfred E. Neuman. Took a lot of stuff over that as a kid. Of course, Mad Magazine's poster boy. But I just select the image I want to insert and click Open. And I get a preview of the image to make sure I pick the right one. Show me what it's more or less what it's going to look like here. And I have the option to add alt text to the image. That's an important accessibility element, something you always want to do. Anytime you insert an image into a Canvas page or an announcement or whatever, you want to provide some alternate text, just a few words that describe the image. because a blind student using screen reader software to access Canvas is not going to be able to see that picture. But if you attach alternate text or alt text to the image, the screen reader will read the text out, so at least the student will know what the image is showing. So I'm going to just say picture of Alfred E. Neumann.
Can you later demonstrate how to play that sound?
I'm sorry?
Can you later demonstrate how to play this sound?
I'm sorry. I am having a hard time with your audio. I am so sorry.
Oh, okay, let me
Sam.
remove my microphone. Let me try that. Okay, later. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better. Thank you.
Oh, okay, strange. Okay, so later, can you demonstrate how to play that sound?
He wants you, he thinks you can make music or something.
No,
Like
no.
you can
How
make,
do you let the speaker to play the sound? Picture of Alfred E. Neumann.
Oh, how could I link an audio file to this, for instance? Well, we're going to
Oh.
see. We're going to see some how to do.
I mean, can Canvas play? Can Canvas read those words?
I am sorry.
Let
I'm
me see
just
one
not.
more time. So
I
can
think, I think what he's saying is if you have a blind student, you need them to know what the image is.
Well, that's the purpose of the alt text. And a blind student would be using a piece of software called a screen reader, which would read the text, the alternate text, to the student. So the student, when they got to this point in this Canvas page, would hear just what a speech, a text-to-speech conversion of what I type here.
So if I do not have that software, can I verify how that works?
No, you need a screen reader to understand how that works. There are some that are available, at least that you can get to try for free and so on.
So if I
Also,
do not have the
actually
screen
there
reader,
is another way. Let me show it to you here in just a second. That's a very good question. But to get that alt text associated with the image, I just type it here and click submit. Or if the image is just a pretty picture and it doesn't have any meaning, I can designate it as a decorative image. And then the screen reader will just ignore it. But let me submit that. And there that image is. It is available. It will show up in the document. I can align it center or right. But I can't just drag it around like I can in Word. HTML won't allow that. I can, however, and this is, Sam, this is something you alluded to earlier very correctly, I can place this image in a table cell. And by adjusting the width of the table columns and things like that and positioning of them, I can control exactly where that image appears on the screen. Let's say I wanted to insert that image here in this table. I can use the same image tool. And now I've uploaded that image once to my course, so I don't have to upload it from my local computer again. I can pull it from Course Images. I just click there and I get a list of all the images that I've uploaded to this course. There's that one. I can just select that, and that image now will be embedded in that table, in that cell in the table. And by changing the width of the table cell or table columns, I can move the image around and get it just where I want it. It's a little cumbersome, but you can put that image exactly where you want it, and you can then have some text right next to it, like this is Alfred E. Newman, mascot of Mad Magazine. So you can control, this gives you fine control over where images appear and other visible elements appear if you use a table. So that's how you have to do that in how you control exactly where visual elements appear on a Canvas page or a discussion post or an announcement by using tables. I will say that tables have some innate challenges as far as accessibility is concerned, particularly for blind students. So it's generally best to avoid tables where you can. But you can minimize the difficulties for a student with tables, a blind student with tables, but you can't totally eliminate them. So they're not recommended generally if you can display your content in some other way without using a table. But they're perfectly legal to use.
So the screen reader doesn't work with tables?
It gives sometimes if the table is not real well designed, it reads the elements of the table out in an ambiguous order. So it can be difficult for the blind student to form a picture in his or her mind of what that table is supposed to look like. It really increases the cognitive load on the blind student if you use tables. So if you can avoid them, it's generally better. But that's not something certainly you can use tables in a Canvas document. They wouldn't put this in here if it weren't legal to use. Okay, and let's see. Let me put that back to the left, or put that in the center there. You also have the capability, once the image is selected, to use these handles at the corners to increase and decrease the apparent size of the image in the document. Doesn't change the size of the file, but it does change the size of the displayed image. And let's see. You can also use the image as the anchor for an external or internal course link. See, I can use that to take me to the first module. And save that. And now if I click on this instance of it, it is a hyperlink, and there it takes me to the first module. So you can use images as links or as anchors.
Can you verify whether the alt text is indeed there?
Yeah, if you click on the picture, so that's not what I meant to do. I need to be in edit mode to do that. Sorry. Just go back and edit this.
Oh.
And go into the editor and select the image and go to image or link options. Nope, sorry. Image options. There's your alt text.
Okay.
Okay. So you can tell if you've added alt text or not. Good
so
question.
For me, if I don't have a screen reader, I really cannot play the sound.
Yeah, you can't really play the alt text.
Okay.
sound. But if you see it there, you can be certain that it will play in a screen reader.
And if I want to create a start here button, I have to create the image myself, correct?
Correct.
Canvas doesn't have a way to insert a button,
Actually,
does it?
Canvas has just added something, and this has just come into play, and I don't know anything about it yet either. But there's now an icon maker
Oh,
built into Canvas. And the next time I do this session, I will cover that as well. But right now, this popped up for me the first time this morning. So
I'm taking a
this is,
course
yeah.
asking me to create a start here link or start here button.
Well, you
So
can
that got me to
always
think.
look for a button online. You can often find editable buttons online, and and indeed I do a session, an advanced session on the Rich Content Editor, where I do things like show you how to create buttons, how to create slideshows and things like that within, but that's a little beyond the scope of this session today. I'd run out of time.
Or I can use like a paint to create a picture of a button.
And I tell you what, I don't want to jump out of this right now because I'll lose track of where I am. But if you'll send me an email asking for that advanced Rich Content Editor session, I do have a recording of that I will send you that covers how to create buttons and how to do all sorts of other advanced tricks with the Rich Content Editor. And I'd love to send that to you. Just remind me if you would. That would be wise on your part. Because I think I can remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but my recollection doesn't go much farther back than that. Okay. All right. So you can insert most any sort of image file that you want to utilize in your Canvas documents using the image insertion tool. The next tool that shows up is the media insertion tool. It looks a little like a little play button with a little musical note beside it. When we're talking about they're using the word media here to refer to video and sound. This is not a tool that you want to use very much, because this tool will actually allow you to create or upload video, for instance, with audio, into your Canvas course. This produces challenges with accessibility and with storage space in your Canvas course. You are limited to 2 gigabytes of file storage within any one Canvas shell. And you can use that up in a hurry if you start putting video and audio files in there, because they're quite large. There are other ways to insert media, video and audio into your course. And I'm going to cover that on the next slide. It's a very important concept, but generally you do not want to put large media files into the file storage in your Canvas shell, because you'll run out before you put very many in there, or you'll run out of space. And we're not likely to be sympathetic to adding more storage to your course, because there are ways you can add video and audio to your Canvas documents without utilizing storage space within Canvas. It's called embedding the videos into a Canvas document, rather than actually loading them onto Canvas. Because Canvas is not really designed as a media server, and you have limited storage space in your courses. So this is a tool I'm going to put off for a minute There's one thing you might want to do with this tool, as long as you don't do too much of it. But generally, I'm going to say this tool is something you probably want to avoid using. So let's jump over that and go to the document insertion tool, which is really useful. If I select the menu for the document tool, I get a similar menu to other insertion tools that we've seen. I can upload a document from my local computer, or I can insert documents into this Canvas page that I have already uploaded into my Canvas course. Or I can upload documents that I've put into my personal user file space that is accessible from any course. But more often than not, we'll be uploading documents here. If I select that option, I'm asked to identify which file I want to upload. Again, I can drag and drop files. Well, let me show that happening here. I'll pull up my file manager here, and let's see. Yeah, you're seeing that. And go to my documents folder, and I've got some tutorial files here or sample files that I use in tutorials. And let's say I want to take this Introduction to Camtasia syllabus file. I want to insert that into my Canvas page. I want to create a link to it that the students will be able to click on and bring up this document. I just select the document, which is a Word document, as indicated by the DocX extension. And now let's see. Okay, just a second. Let me get that back up again. All right. And now, sorry, fighting Windows here. There we go. Now I've got this File Explorer window, or it could be a Finder window on the Mac, visible on the screen along with this upload file box, and I can just click and drag that document over and drop it on the Launchpad, and the file is uploaded. Canvas can't preview a Word document here, but if I submit, I get a link to that document. If I save this Canvas page and click on that link, a preview of that document will appear. May take a second. There's a lot of computation going on. The document and there's the document. And then I can close the preview here and go back to my Canvas page. If I want this document to appear, the contents of this document to appear automatically in my Canvas page without the student or colleague or whomever having to click on that link, I can go into edit mode and scroll down to that document link and click on it, and I get link options, which I can select. And I have some display options here. And I can preview. It's set by default to preview in an overlay, which is what we saw. That you have to click on the link and then an overlay pops up and you see the document. But if you just want that document to display automatically, you can select Preview Inline. And there's an option that goes with that says Expand Preview by Default. If you select all of that and click Done, it doesn't seem to make any difference here in edit mode, but if I save the page and scroll down to the bottom here, now the document previews automatically. So when a student if a student were to open this page by clicking on a link to it in the module and scroll down, they'd automatically see this Word document previewed. And the Word document, the formatting in the Word document will be preserved. And this would work with a PDF or a PowerPoint presentation or an Excel spreadsheet. Most any Microsoft Office document will preview, because Canvas has viewers built into it that will display those documents. So this way you can embed this Word document right into your Canvas page so that it automatically pops up when a student views the page. So that's a real nice capability. Again, you can also pull documents up that you have already loaded into your course, perhaps when you were creating your modules or whatever. If you click on course documents, you get a list of all the document files that have been uploaded into the file space on your course. And if you want to embed a link to a PowerPoint presentation, you can select that and then close the add pane there. And if someone were to click on that link, they would that PowerPoint, a view of that PowerPoint presentation would come up and they could view it. So you could embed your PowerPoint presentations right into a Canvas page if you are designing your course that way. I could also set this up to preview inline automatically, just as I did the Word document. But if I do that, I'm going to have quite a long string of PowerPoint slides. So I don't want to do that. That would make this document unwieldy to continue with. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to avail myself of that option here. But I do have that option. So that's one way you could display a PowerPoint presentation to your students, is embed it this way using the document insertion tool in a Canvas page. Okie dokie. Let's see. Why did that really compressed my icon bar? That's curious. Not quite sure why that did that. Let me expand that. There, that's better. Yeah. I just magnified and demagnified the web page there for a second by Control plus, Control minus on my keyboard to get that back. Occasionally you will see strange view anomalies like that, and you just have to tinker with them to get things back the way you wanted it. Particularly if you're doing what I'm doing here, which is magnifying this so someone in a Zoom meeting can see it more clearly. All right, so that's document insertion. Let's go back to our PowerPoint slides here for a second. And I was about to forget the external tools or apps option for inserting content. Let's go back and do that before I forget it. I can use, that's this tool right here. If you mouse over it, it says, and hold for a second, a tooltip will pop up that says apps. There you go. That used to be termed external tools, and that's probably a more informative name for it. If I click here, I see a list of some external tools from which I can embed content into this Canvas page. these are just ones that I've used recently. I can select View All, and I can see all of the external tools that are available to this particular course, Canvas course, based upon which college the course is offered through. And there are lots of options here. One of the more recently useful ones is the Microsoft Office 365 tool, which allows me to embed a document from my Office 365 OneDrive, the cloud storage associated with Office 365. So if I select that, it pulls up. If I'm not logged into my Microsoft account, it will prompt me to do so. But I stay logged into it most of the time. Here's my OneDrive file list. And if I want to embed one of these files, one of these documents, or videos, I've got all sorts of stuff in here. Let's say this PowerPoint presentation here, I can just select that and then scroll down to the bottom here and attach the file. And that embeds that document into a link to that document right out of my OneDrive right into this Canvas page without me having to download, go through the document insertion process, which doesn't give me access to my documents that I've got stored in OneDrive. This will. And then, unfortunately, under link options, I don't have the option to have an inline preview of this document, or have it open up inline in the Canvas web page like I can if I actually insert a document that's stored on my local hard drive. It just, the integration between Canvas and Office 365 doesn't have that capability yet, or ever maybe. But that's how I can insert content or links to content from tools outside of Canvas. There were lots of other options there, most of them involving video. So rather than hold forth more about this external tool insertion option here, I'm going to go to the next slide in the PowerPoint presentation, which deals specifically with inserting video into your Canvas documents. This is maybe one of the most powerful capabilities of the Rich Content Editor. It allows you to embed video into a Canvas page or an announcement or a test question so that students can click on that video and play it right from within the Canvas document rather than having to go to YouTube or go to Canvas Studio and pull it up and play it there. So this is an exceptionally powerful, instructionally powerful aspect of the Rich Content Editor, because there's nothing more information dense or instructionally effective than online video. There's a research that shows that students will remember up to 80% of what they see and hear in a video after a week. The percentage retention is not nearly that high if they read it, if you provide information in the form of text. But video is an extremely effective instructional medium, always has been, and now we have so many ways of creating instructional video and sharing instructional video with our students, and the Rich Content Editor gives us a number of capabilities in that regard. So let's see how some of this works. Let's go back to our document that we're editing here, and let's say I want to embed one or more videos here down lower in this document. How do I do that? Well, one way to do that is to record the video right directly in the Rich Content Editor. And that's the one thing I'd say you might want to do with this media insertion tool here that I skipped over a little earlier. If I click the down caret next to that option in the Rich Content Editor, I have an option here to upload or record media. For reasons I've already stated, you really don't want to be uploading video files from your local hard drive into Canvas. For two reasons. It's difficult to make them accessible, and you can't use online video that's not captioned, that's not accessible to students. That's a big no-no. That will bring all sorts of trouble down upon our heads and the district's head. Everything. You don't want to be caught doing that. But one thing that you might want to do is record media directly. If you just have a quick little video that you want to share with the students and you want that video embedded in this Canvas page, you can select, rather than uploading from your computer, that is just not a good idea. You can record. This brings up the standard Canvas video recorder that you see a lot of different places in Canvas. You would normally just, if this of course would require a webcam and a microphone. Usually the webcam has the microphone built in. This will only work for you if you have a webcam. I have one here. If you have a webcam, normally your picture, whatever the webcam is pointed at, would just pop up. I have a number of cameras on this system, so I didn't know which one to use. You also want to make sure that you see this bouncing blue bar when you talk. That's an indication that your microphone is working. If you don't see that, you may have to click here where it says, on this button that says mic, and select the appropriate microphone. Like that one. Yeah, that's another microphone that will work, so I'll just use that one. Then to record a short video that's just like a greeting or something like that, and it just normally be a talking head video, or it might be a video of someone dancing or something like that, that you have if you have your webcam pointed at someone demonstrating a dance step or something. It might be useful for that. And just a second, please.
Especially if control of the House flips to the Republicans next year.
All right, Ed O'Keefe with that breaking news up on Capitol Hill. Want to bring in John Dickerson. Well, Trump would not be the first president to be subpoenaed, but it's unlikely that he would ever appear, correct?
It would be unless he wanted to just turn this into such a spectacle, but this committee would know to shape things in such a way to avoid that. Among the things they might ask him is what Adam Schiff was just talking about. When Cassidy Hutchinson testified.
Sorry about that. Don't know how that happened. My TV came on magically without any apparent human involvement. I'll have to investigate that later. Sorry for the interruption.
Or something.
Yeah. So now I can just, if I want to record what this webcam is seeing along with the voiceover, I just click Start Recording. Counts me down. Hi, everyone. This is a sample video recorded using the Canvas webcam recorder that is built into the Rich Content Editor in Canvas. Then I click Finish. I can
Hi everyone.
preview that to see if it recorded, and then I can just save it. The video will be then embedded in the Canvas page. You won't see it in edit mode, but if I save that, oops, sorry. Actually, I guess you will see it. It takes it a second to upload. It didn't let me jump out before that happened. So now if I save this, and scroll down to the bottom. Here's a video that the student can play
Hi everyone.
right within the document. You can't do that on paper.
But do you have captions?
Pardon?
You don't have captions.
That's the problem, indeed. The you don't have the ability to caption this here.
Well, you could type it, your little message.
No, you can in fact caption this. There are ways you can do it, but it's extremely tedious. So
Oh,
this is just generally not the best way to embed a video into a Canvas document.
right.
So that's why I said this tool right here is just one that I don't really recommend using very much.
Mm,
There are ways you can caption that, but they're tedious. They involve some typing in many cases, or they involve uploading the video into YouTube and downloading the caption file from YouTube and then embedding and then uploading that to the video in Canvas,
right.
which it's not worth the effort. This video now is taking up space in my file area on Canvas, and video adds up in a hurry. 2 gigabytes is not that much storage space when you start talking about video. So this tool is really better just to pretty much forget that tool. Unless you were just doing this, let's say this were a page that you were going to share with just one student for a particular reason, or a limited group of students where you know that none of them are hearing impaired, then you could get away without captioning it. But that's a relatively unusual circumstance and not a good bet as far as regulatory compliance is concerned and so on. So a much better way to do this sort of thing is to use, rather than using the media insertion tool, is to use a couple other tools that are built into the Rich Content Editor. Let's go back and look at the PowerPoint slide. Just don't upload local video files. It's just way too cumbersome to get them accessible, and they use up space in your Canvas course. Far better to embed the videos from external video apps like Canvas Studio, YouTube, Films on Demand if your college subscribes to that service. Most of them do now. So you create your video outside of Canvas, you store it online on a video hosting service that's outside of Canvas, and then you embed them into your Canvas document using that apps tool. Let's see how that might work. Bring our little growing document up here. And I'm going to save this document and come back to it in a minute. So let's say I want to record a little video for my students like that. Rather than doing it right from within the Rich Content Editor, I'd probably, or one option anyway, is to go to Canvas Studio, which is not actually part of Canvas. It's an external tool. It's another system outside of Canvas, but it's accessed through the Global Access menu in Canvas. I just click here where it says Studio, and it will pull up my Canvas Studio library, which I may or may not have anything in to start with. From this page, my library page, I can record either a webcam or a webcam video or a screen video. And I don't want to take too much time on this. We do entire sessions on how to use Canvas Studio. But let's say I want to record something like that little video that I just recorded, the webcam video that I recorded in the Rich Content Editor, but do it in Canvas Studio instead. I just click the webcam capture option, and I get exactly the same screen recorder that we saw before. And I can record a video by just clicking Start Recording. Look at the camera, that's where my audience is. Hi everyone, I'm Dave. I'm your instructor for this course. This is a video I'm going to share with you in a Canvas page. Then I finish. I can play the video if I'm not sure it recorded. Look at the camera. Yeah, it did. And then save the media. Same process, exactly the same process as I used within the Rich Content Editor, but now this video is not sent to my Canvas course and stored there. It's sent to Canvas Studio, which is a separate system. It's a separate pot of memory, and the good thing about that pot of memory is that it seems to be effectively unlimited for you. You can make as much, you can store as much video in your Canvas Studio library as you care to. I've got hundreds and hundreds of videos in mine, and some significant fraction of a terabyte of video storage on Canvas Studio, and they've yet to come back and tell me, you know, you're cut off. You've got too much there. So as near as we can tell, this is effectively unlimited. So you don't have to worry about how many videos you have or how long they are, or how much storage space you're using. So this video now is loaded in Canvas Studio. The other good thing about this is that I can caption this video. I can have Canvas Studio caption this for me just by clicking on the Captions tab in the video view page, telling it what the language is, and clicking Request. And Canvas Studio will caption this. I will have to come back later and review the captions and publish them for them to be actually useful, and I'm not going to sit here and wait for that to happen. I'm going to go back to my Canvas course that we were working in and pick another video that I've already got in my Canvas Studio library and embed that into my Canvas page that I'm creating.
It takes that long for the captions, huh?
It doesn't take very long with a short video like that. But I don't want to have dead space. We still have a few more things to cover. I don't want to waste the time on that. Here's my Canvas tutorial sandbox that we've been using. I'll go to Pages, and I'll find that page that we've been working with. Looking for the date there. There it is. That's the one we've been working with. I can go back and edit that. Now, if I want to embed that video that I just created in Canvas Studio here in my document, I go to the electric cord icon, the apps icon, and I select Canvas Studio from the list. And here's my Canvas Studio library. There's that video I just created. But if I want to use another one, I hate that frame, default frame there. But if I want to insert any video from my Canvas Studio library into my Canvas page, I just hit select. I can choose or not to display media tabs. I'm not going to do that. That displays some stuff below the video in the Canvas page that allows students to do things like comment on the video, things like that. I want a cleaner display. If I wanted the students to be able to download this video and have so they could have their own copy of it, their own file copy of it, I could turn that on. Usually that's not something you want. So you set your embed options here, and then you just click Embed, the Embed button in the lower right-hand corner of the box. And that video, in all its glory, is embedded in my Canvas document. I click Save. I can scroll to the bottom, and there's that video. I can play that video.
Hi, welcome to the course. I'm going to be your instructor.
And it's captioned.
Somebody in this course has to fail. Might as well be you.
I had a colleague early in my teaching days who started his courses every semester with that statement. I think he was kidding. Don't think we get away with that today. But anyway, that's all there is to embedding a video from Canvas Studio into your Canvas page. And you're not limited to Canvas Studio. You also have a YouTube tool. You can go to YouTube, and all videos basically on YouTube are captioned. They're captioned automatically, so you can use most anything in YouTube. And from this YouTube app in the Rich Content Editor, you can search for a subject like chemistry. I used to be a chemist. Press enter. I get just about 1 billion chemistry videos on YouTube. I can preview one of them. There's the Khan Academy Introduction to Chemistry. That's a very high quality video. Anything from Khan Academy is a high quality instructional video, and it's available for free. You can use that. All you have to, if you click on the video thumbnail here, you can preview it, but I know that's a good video. I'm just going to take it, and I can embed either small, medium, or large. Let's just do medium. And just that fast, I've embedded a YouTube video from, oops, I had my cursor at the top of the document, so I got it right at the top, but that's all right. There's that YouTube video. If I save our Canvas page again, I can play this video right from here.
Is what most people associate when they think of chemistry. They think of scientists working on a bench with.
Okay. And there are literally millions of high quality instructional videos on YouTube. Well, the quality varies, but you as the instructor get to pick the ones you want to use, and you can embed them right into a Canvas page or an announcement or a discussion post or a test question or whatever. And the students can play them right from there. Incredibly powerful capability in the Rich Content Editor. If I go back and edit again, go up to the top here. Well, let's go down to the bottom. And I can also embed videos from things like, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah. Sorry. I can view all of my options here. Resources like library resources, or in the case of Mesa, this course is associated with the Mesa College sub-account on Canvas. I can select Films on Demand. You may well see that here in your college affiliation as well. And Films on Demand is a resource incredibly useful and high quality, already vetted, already quality assured videos on just about any subject you can imagine. I'll try chemistry again. Here's just, the chemistry of love. Wow, that sounds racy. Let's try that one. I can preview the video right here, or I can just go right ahead and embed it, just as I did with the YouTube video. That's not quite exactly what I had in mind, but I guess we'll take it. If I save that. Now I can play this high quality instructional video about grasshopper sex in my course.
chemistry of love. When we observe animal life, we can see a common denominator of species. They all try to transmit.
And I can, and it's captioned, so it's legal.
In order to do this,
The sound, quite frankly, you're not hearing the sound very well because it's coming through my microphone. Quite frankly, the sound sucked on that one. I probably wouldn't use that video myself, even if I had some reason to do so. But you have the option to pick things that are appropriate and of good production value and so on, video-wise. So you can insert video that you create, that other people have created and stored online for free, for you to use for free, and so on. And this is just it's a great way to share instructional video with your students through a Canvas page or a discussion post or whatever. Your students can create their own videos. They have the same access you do to Canvas Studio, to their Canvas Studio libraries. They can record videos and post them on the discussion board or submit them to Canvas assignments. The rich and using the rich content editor, and it's just there's an endless amount of ways you can use that sort of capability in your Canvas courses, and your students can use it. And it's all available through the rich content editor, through the apps tool here. There is one other way to insert video from the web where you don't necessarily have an external app associated with it. And that's to use the embed tool here, the little cloud tool, which is the rightmost icon in the Canvas Studio ribbon, the Canvas Rich Content Editor ribbon, rather. And that will allow you to embed any video that has an embed code associated with it. Let's go, for instance, to TED. We don't have a TED app. Technology, education, I forget what the D is. But there are just, these are short videos recorded by the world's expert in their field. Here's something I can relate to, how to squeeze all the juice out of retirement. Let's say I want to embed that in my Canvas page that I'm creating here. I just need what's called an embed code. TED, like many other video sites, will have a share button below the video, same with YouTube. Click that, I can get the embed code, which is not real obvious, but this is it, the second one here. Copy that to my clipboard, he said. Uh-oh. Let's see if that actually did that. It's not showing it. Okay. And go back here. And I can go to the embed tool. And I can paste. Oh, there's something there. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the embed code. You don't have to understand anything about how that embed code works. You just submit it. And bingo, there's that TED Talk embedded right into your Canvas page. And I can play it right from here. And so you can embed videos into your Canvas pages or whatever Canvas document you're creating from any video site on the web that will provide you with an embed code. And most will. So, the wealth of instructional video content that the rich content editor allows you to share with your students in a Canvas page or a discussion post or an announcement is just stunning. It's more than we could ever use. But we'd never find everything we'd like to use, but we can find a lot of very useful stuff. And the rich content editor gives us the capability to share that effectively with our students. And TED videos, like YouTube videos or Canvas Studio videos, are captioned and are accessible and legal to use.
Everyone says you have to get...
So, I just don't know what more I can say. That's tremendously instructionally powerful that you can do that.
Well, thank you. That was great.
There's, I could go and give more examples and things like that, but I just want you to know that this is possible. If you ever have any questions about creating or using instructional video, that is my favorite topic. That's my favorite instructional technology of all, partly because it's so instructionally powerful, and partly because it's fun and it makes a great toy. Lots of great toys associated with it. So it's something I've been fascinated with since I was a sophomore undergraduate, back in the days when video was barely functional, and videotape had just begun to be available, and so on, things like that. So I've been fascinated with it ever since and convinced of its value. So I do know something about it. I certainly wouldn't consider myself a major expert on it, but I can do a lot with it, and I'm always happy to help. If you want to make use of instructional video in your courses, I'm always up for helping you play with the toys. All right, let's see where we are in our PowerPoint presentation. We're just about out of time, but I think that's pretty much covered that slide. Accessibility checkers are built into the rich content editor. We actually have two. And that's a very important consideration, because we're required to make our online content accessible to students with all sorts of disabilities and challenges. The two accessibility checkers are one that's organic to the RCE, the rich content editor, and is accessed through this little symbol at the lower right-hand corner of the content box in the rich content editor. It's Galileo's little measure of man symbol. If you click on that, you get, if there are issues with your accessibility, it will find some of them. It's not perfect. This is not the most extensive accessibility checker around, but it's not bad. I had a table that didn't have a caption, so I can add one, which will display and be read to the blind student. We'll also display at the top of the table. I can apply that, and now if I go back up and look at that table in a minute, I'll be able to see that. Tables should include at least one header. Most of this is going to be table issues. This is what I said. There are accessibility issues with tables that can be mitigated to a certain extent, but they'll never be perfect. And whoops, image file names. I forgot to put in or it didn't save. Oh, this is the second time I inserted that video, and I didn't add an alt text label to it, and it just by default inserted the name of the file, but that's not very useful. So it's asking me to clean that up. This is a picture of Alfred. And I can apply that. Now I've got alt text. So Sam, you were asking earlier, how can I tell if I've added alt text to my images? Well, probably the best way to do it is just run the accessibility checker. And if it finds an image without alt text, it'll tell you and give you an opportunity to edit.
Okay.
Okay, and that's the sort of the basic accessibility checker that's built into the rich content editor that all users of Canvas have access to. But at the district has also purchased for us access to a different, more extensive accessibility checker called PopeTech, and that's what this stylized P is here down in this button bar at the bottom of the edit screen for the rich content editor. If I click on that, it basically gives me the same information, but in a more extensive form. And it found some issues that the other checker did not. The tables, headings, text and contrast. Let's see. I underlined some text. They didn't like that. It says underlines almost universally indicate linked text. Consider removing the underline from the non-linked text. My response to that would be, you don't have to take their advice. I wanted to underline that because I was showing you how to underline. Then let's see what it says about documents and videos here. I've got a link to a Word document, so what's wrong with that? Ensure that the Word document is natively accessible. Well, I think I did that before I started. Let's see. YouTube video. What about the YouTube video? Ensure that the YouTube video presents equivalent synchronized captions. Well, all YouTube videos pretty much do. So this is just warning me to look. This was the TED video, I think. Ensure there's captions, just warnings. They're not actually, notice there are no outright errors because I fixed the error with the alt text in the other checker. But there are some things that that it wants you to take a look at just to be sure that everything's accessible. So PopeTech is a little bit better accessibility checker than the one built into the RCE, but they did both catch a lot of the same things. All right. Now let's see where we are here. We talked about both of those. And finally, and we're just now finishing up, there are some miscellaneous tools at the bottom of the rich content editor window that we can talk about very quickly. You've got some keyboard shortcuts that are especially useful for students with motor disabilities, and they can get those from right here. There's a word counter. If you want to make sure that you have a certain number of words in your document, you've got that. There's an HTML display option. If you click that, it will show you the actual HTML code for your web page, which if you're an HTML maven will give you some capabilities, editing capabilities that you wouldn't have in the normal edit mode in the rich content editor. So you can go back and forth on that. You can also full screen your content window to make it easier to see what you're doing and escape out of that to go back and punch the escape key. And you can expand that content window a little bit without going full screen, so you can see a little more but not take up the entire screen. By default, when you save a Canvas page to your Canvas course or an announcement or whatever, only you can edit it. But you can allow your students. You can put a Canvas page in and give your students capability to edit. If you want to use it like a wiki, say, and have the students be able to add to it, you can give them that right. Or you can give anybody who's even observers in the course the right to do that if you so choose. But the default is for only you to be able to edit the page or the announcement or the discussion post in the rich content editor. And if you make changes to a document, you can automatically notify everybody in the course that the document is changed by a Canvas message, so they'll know if you've changed something in that document. So those are just little extra capabilities that are built into the Rich Content Editor. Woof! A lot of stuff. The Rich Content Editor is really a massive tool. And it has incredible capability, most of which we've looked at today. And that's pretty much the end of my presentation at 12:03. Sorry, I went 3 minutes over. That's pretty good for me. You've had a lot of good questions as we've gone along today. Let me ask you if you have some more. I'm happy to answer anything else that you might care to ask about this topic or any other topic for that matter. And I'll stay as long as you have questions. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Ma'am, did I get all your questions answered at some point in there?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Great, great.
Okay, see you next time.
I'll look forward to it. Thanks for coming. You're a faithful attendee. I appreciate that so much. All righty. Take care, Sam. Have a wonderful evening.
Okay, you too. Bye.
I'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.